Hey guys, Blue here. So I wanted to do a video to discuss the Sunday mission because it is running today, and also to talk a bit about forging because the Sunday mission obviously affects forging quite a bit. Now, I did do one video on the Sunday mission a few months ago, but I wanted to do a bit of a refresher, especially if you're not doing it, just to go over it and then talk some about forging as well. Okay, so, with the Sunday mission, if you're not running it and grinding it, you really should be. You're missing out. It is a brilliant way to collect a lot of SIGs very quickly. It does take a little bit of time and some resources, but it is just so helpful in being able to forge up your bots significantly faster than you would otherwise, right? So with the Sunday mission, you can grind for 2, 4, and 5-star SIGs. For the purposes of this video, I'm going to focus on the medium lane for 4-star SIGs because I'm also going to be focusing on forging 4-star bots into 5-star bots because the ultimate goal is to get our 5-star bots up to max forge. Okay, so with the Sunday mission, if you are not aware, if you want the exploration rewards, you want to go through it on your own first. So you can auto-complete the first lane, then you go through it yourself to get the exploration rewards. And on the 4-star lane, the medium lane, you get a total of 12 4-star SIGs. You also get nearly half of a T4 alpha and some shards, okay? And then once you've explored it, you then can start grinding it on autocomplete. Okay, and you want to do it on autocomplete. If you go through it yourself after that, it won't work. So you need to do it on auto, but that's good because it's obviously much faster and more efficient. Okay, and so I've already done a ton of grinding on this today. I did a bunch because it is very worthwhile. And so how much you can do this depends on how much energy you have and your commander level, but most people will be able to get through this 3 times per energy refill because it is 22 energy per run, right? So if you're at level 51, you have precisely 66 energy. You can get through it exactly 3 times. But either way, most people will be able to get through it 3 times, which is 15 SIGs per energy refill, okay? So right now I'm at 7 energy. If I want this to be efficient, then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna go in here and I have an energy refill here that's ready. I use that. Now I'm back up to 72. And then I can run through this a few times, right? So I will go ahead and do that. And as you can see, in about 30 seconds, I am able to get 15 SIGs. And so you can do this repeatedly in order to amass a lot of SIGs. If you want to grind for 5-star SIGs, like if you want to get one of your bots up to high SIG quickly, you get 10 SIGs for exploration and then 4 more per run after that. And then I'll talk about the easy lane where you can grind for 2-star SIGs. That can be helpful when it comes to sharks. We'll talk about that in a bit, okay? So you really want to be forging up your top bots, okay? I've spoken about this a little bit. Your top bots, preferably forge 1 at a time, no more than 2 at a time, so that it goes more quickly and more efficiently in terms of your resources. Even though it is a lot faster than it used to be, it still does take some time, and you have to be willing to spend the energon and spend some time grinding every Sunday. But it makes a world of difference, because remember, in the new version of the game, we don't have AM kits anymore, right? And AMs are the main challenging content we have. So getting your bots up to high forge level makes a significant difference. It's almost the equivalent of an additional rank. And since we don't have rank 6 anymore, it can be extremely helpful, okay? So in terms of forging, this is one of those things that can become very overcomplicated. I think a lot of people overthink it, do all kinds of calculations and math and spreadsheets and everything. Some people have done that. I've done that a little bit, and you can if you want to nerd out on it. But the thing is, you don't need to, okay? We're talking about efficiency here, not spending too much time on it. This is a game. Ultimately, forging comes down to a handful of principles, okay? And it is made easier as long as you are grinding the Sunday mission, okay? So there's no need to obsess over, the absolute best way to forge or some secrets that don't exist. Just follow the basic principles and you will be just fine, okay? So in terms of forging, right, I'm going to be focusing on, like I said, 4-star bots into 5-star bots, right? Because the ultimate goal is forging up your 5 stars. And you do generally want to forge the lower tier into the tier that's just above it. So 4 stars into 5 stars, 3 stars into 4 stars. That gives you the best value for your XP, for your forge XP, and it just keeps things simple, okay? You do also get a bonus for forging the same class into the corresponding class, like a tactician into a tactician, and of course forging the same bot into the corresponding bot, right? So OGP into OGP, that also unlocks Forge 100 the first time you do it, okay? So whenever you do have, let's say you're forging up OGP, whenever you do have tacticians available to forge, it does make sense to focus on them because you will get a bonus in terms of the Forge XP that you earn by doing that, okay? Now, one of the reasons why the Sunday mission is so helpful here is because SIG level, so the SIG level of your 4-star bots plays a major role in how much Forge XP you end up getting, as well as the amount of 5-star bot shards that you get when you forge a bot away. It makes a world of difference to get your 4-star bots up to max SIG, or at least to very high SIG, before you forge them away. Now, this does not make a big difference at low SIG. So if you take a 4-star bot from SIG 5 to SIG 10, it's not going to make a big difference. But getting a bot from SIG 5 to SIG 100 is a very different story. And so I've been doing some grinding on OGM today. He is my next forging project. I will be maxing him out in every way over the next few weeks. And so in terms of the SIG level, as I said, right, low SIG is not going to give a lot of Forge XP value, certainly not if they're unawakened. But at high SIG, makes a big difference, okay? So I have a wheeljack here, okay? This wheeljack is at SIG 5, okay? So I'm just gonna feed wheeljack into OGM, and look, it does not even give one full forge level. And this is at Forge 36, because remember, the amount of Forge XP you need to advance to the next levels increases as you go up. This is why when you get your bots up to, say, Forge 80 or 90, it becomes much harder to kind of finish them off because you need a lot more Forge XP to progress up to 100. So in this case, right, a low SIG wheeljack doesn't do that much for me. However, if I then go to my 4-star wheeljack, okay, and I take him up to SIG 100, it's going to make a very noticeable difference in terms of what he's able to do for OGM. So I'm going to go ahead, finish him off here. Okay, so I've got him at SIG 100 now. Hopefully the game will cooperate here. Okay, good. And then we're going to go back to OGM. And if we put Mr. Wheeljack into OGM, he now gets 6 levels, nearly 7. So it goes from less than 1 forge level to nearly 7. It's a significant difference, as you can see. So this is the main reason why getting your bots up to a high SIG level makes a world of difference. And of course, with the Sunday mission, it's just much easier now. Okay? Now, next, I want to talk about rank. I'm going to forge this wheeljack away, but I want to talk about rank. The rank of your 4-star bots, unfortunately, has a minimal impact on the amount of Forge XP that you get. It helps more with low-tier bots, like a 1 or 2-star bot. But when it comes to 4-star bots, taking a 4-star from rank 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 makes a very small difference. So, for example, this wheeljack is at rank 2, right? it takes OGM to forge level 42, nearly 43. If I were to take this wheeljack up to rank 3 right now, OGM would get to forge 43, but barely. It would just provide a very small benefit. And so what that means is that you do not need to rank up your 4-star bots. This is really important. You just don't need to rank up your 4-star bots before you forge them away. Getting them to high sig is way more beneficial and much easier. This is a good thing, though, because obviously ranking up 4-star bots requires a lot of resources. And if you wanted to max out your 4-star bots, get them up to rank 5, you'd end up having to spend a bunch of energon on sparks and things like that. You don't want to do that. It's a waste of resources. It won't help that much, okay? Now, if you want to take up a bot, like in this case with Wheeljack, if you want to take a bot up 1 rank, to get to the next forge level, excuse me, and you already have the sparks and all of that, that's fine, no problem. But I wouldn't spend any resources on those sparks. That's important, okay? So you don't really have to worry about it, okay? Which is actually really helpful, because if you had to, or if it was way more beneficial to rank up your 4 stars first, this would take a lot longer, okay? So that means that it's actually perfectly acceptable to forge away your bots at rank 1. Totally fine. And it's also the easiest, it's the most efficient, you don't have to waste resources, you save time, etc. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and forge away this Wheeljack into OGM. He's now at Forge 42, got some resources, and got over 5,700 5-star bot shards. So if you forge a SIG 100 4-star bot into a 5-star bot, you're going to get between 5,000 and 6,500 5-star shards, depending on rank, forge level, etc. So that means that if you forge away just 2 max SIG 4-star bots, you're going to get a full 5-star bot crystal. That's a really nice bonus. By the way, this OGM I just started working on today. I just did a bunch of grinding. Didn't even take that long, spent maybe an hour on it, did a bunch of grinding, got him from Forge 0 to 42 today, right? Super awesome, okay? So anyway, rank, especially the 4-star bots, is not going to be very beneficial to you, okay? Ranking up a 1-star bot or a 2-star bot to feed into a 2 or 3-star bot helps more, but even then, it is definitely not absolutely necessary, okay? The next thing I want to talk about is the forge level of your 4-star bot, okay? If you forge up your 4-star bot before you forge it away, if you were to take a 4-star bot to Forge 100, for example, it does actually provide a significant boost in Forge XP. That is true. The problem with that, though, is that that's very time-consuming and it can cost a ton of resources, like a lot of resources, right? Because you've got to rank up your 4-star bot, potentially, if you want. But even besides that, just to forge up your 4-star bot is going to require lots of resources in terms of your 2-star bots and your 3-star bots and all of that stuff, right? It takes a long time, okay? So I also generally wouldn't recommend it, and it's not necessary. Now, it's totally fine to partially forge up your 4-star bots, and that will still help. If you get a 4-star bot up to Forge 20 or 30, that will still give it a little bit of a benefit in terms of Forge XP. But getting a 4-star bot all the way up to Forge 100 is going to require a lot of resources. You're going to have to buy sparks. You're going to have to spend a bunch of time on it. So in most cases, it's not helpful, okay? Now, one instance in which you might want to do it is when you're forging the initial same bot into that bot, right? So if, let's say you have OGM and you want to unlock Forge 100 and you have a 4-star OGM, if you wanted to just go all in on that bot, you wanted to rank it up because you had the sparks, you wanted to forge it up, all of that stuff, yeah, you'd get a nice bonus. And by the way, if you forge a max sig rank 5 Forge 100 4-star bot into a 5-star bot that's starting at Forge 0, that bot's going to go from Forge 0 to 40. So it is a nice boost if you do it once at the beginning when you're forging the same bot into the corresponding bot. Again, you don't have to do that. It can be beneficial there, but otherwise I wouldn't bother with it, because as nice of a boost as you get, in Forge XP by forging up your 4 stars first. It's just too time consuming and it's a lot of resources that you do not need to spend. So the bottom line here is the most efficient way to forge is to simply forge rank 1 bots at max sig into 5-star bots. That's all you have to do. When you can do the same class, do that. When you can do the same bot into the same bot, do that. Okay? If you want to forge up that 4-star bot a little bit before you forge it away, great. But you absolutely do not need to rank up your 4-star bots or forge them up before you forge them away. If you get them up to high sig, which is now very easy to do in the Sunday mission, it's not going to take you that long to get your top bots up to Forge 100, okay? So what I would recommend you do is just have a budget of Energon to spend every Sunday on the mission. It is the best value for Energon we have in the game, okay? You want to have some Energon maybe for a mastery you're working on or for the occasional spark, but there is no better value for Energon in this game right now. Not at all. And so the last thing I do want to talk about just a bit is sharks, because if you're not aware, sharks are the best forge food in the game, okay? They provide a massive Forge XP bonus, and in addition, of course, if you forge the, say, Tactician Shark into a Tactician, you're getting that additional bonus. Sharks are brilliant for forging. So remember, with sharks, you cannot buy them normally. You can't pull them from a general crystal. You do have to grind for them by doing the shark teams in arenas. So if you don't really like arenas, you've got to do some arenas at least to get those initial 2-star sharks, right? And then you form those shark crystals by accumulating the shards, right? So you do some arenas, you do the shark teams whenever you see them. Eventually, you have 2,000 shards, and you can start opening up 2-star shark crystals. This does take some time, especially if you don't do arenas a lot, but it is worth it. Now, once you have, let's say, a few sharks, the unfortunate thing here is they're very difficult to dupe because it takes a while to form these crystals, and even when you do form a shark crystal, it's random, right? It's based on RNG, so you might not get a dupe of the shark that you want. So the other option you have is to then buy an awakening program, okay? So generally speaking, I do not recommend that you buy awakening programs, especially higher tier ones, because they're really expensive, like over 1,000 Energon for a 5-star awakening. That's ridiculous. However, the one instance in which it can be worth it is to buy a 2-star awakening program for sharks specifically. It's only 125 Energon, so it's not bad, and you don't have to wait around forever to pull a dupe from a shark crystal, because that could be months, okay? So if you want, you get a shark that you want to forge away eventually, you buy a 2-star awakening program. Then, this is where the Sunday mission comes back into play. Then you can dump all the 2-star SIGs you have into it, but then you can also do the grind on the easy path. Because on the easy path, you get 2-star SIGs for completion, 3-star for exploration. But when you auto do it after you first explore it, you get the 2-star SIGs over and over again. It only takes 11 energy, by the way, which means that for most people, you can run through this 6 times per energy refill. That's 18 SIGs for 1 refill, which means that you can get your 2-star shark up to SIG 100 quite quickly, okay? And then, if you're wondering about sharks, the way that you're able to get 3-star sharks and 4-star sharks, etc., is by forging them away, right? So if you forge away a max SIG 2-star shark, you're going to get in the vicinity of 8,000 3-star shark shards. And then you'll have some 3-star sharks, and then eventually you'll get 4 stars, etc., right? And then once you forge away your 2-star sharks, then you do some more arenas, etc., you start the cycle again, okay? Now, when it comes to the sharks, they are also a good option to rank up, potentially forge up, before you forge them away. You don't have to. Again, they're fine if you just get them up to max SIG, but because sharks are so useful and provide so much Forge XP, if you're going to rank up and or forge up a bot before you forge it away, sharks would be the bots to do it. So I've done that a couple of times with, 2-star sharks, and it really does make a big difference, right? So what I would say is if you have a 4-star bot that you want to forge up, utilize sharks in that case, right? So forge away a couple of 2-star sharks into 3-star bots, then you're going to get some 3-star sharks, then eventually, you can forge away your 3-star sharks, right? It'll just help a lot. Now, unfortunately, I just should mention that 3-star SIGs are very difficult to get because you cannot grind for them in the Sunday mission. They take a lot longer, but that's okay. Even if your sharks are awakened, you just feed them any 3-star SIGs you get from, arenas, from AMs, whatever, and they will still help. Okay, so that's the deal with sharks. Do the arenas, buy awakening programs if you want to get them awakened quickly, invest in them, forge them away, and you will get great Forge XP, and you will start to collect higher tier sharks. Okay, so basically, guys, in summary, like I said, I did not want to go off on tangents in this because I have seen some of the crazy discussions about forging over the years. It is not nearly as complicated as some people want to make it out to be. Okay, just follow a few basic principles, right? So forge the lower tier into the next tier up, like 4 stars into 5 stars. Forge into the same class when you can, the same bot when you can. Get your bots up to max SIG or as close to it as you can by grinding the Sunday mission, okay? You do not need to rank up your 4-star bots. You can if it'll help a little bit. If you're going to get from, say, Forge 39 to 40 by taking your bot from rank 1 to 2, go ahead. But otherwise, you do not need to rank up your 4-star bots. Forging your 4-star bots does provide value, but again, it's not necessary, so I would do that very selectively. And put in a little bit of work to get yourself some sharks and invest in them, and then forge them away. If you follow those basic principles while also grinding the Sunday mission and taking advantage of it, you will be able to get your top bots up to Forge 100 much more quickly than you ever could before, and it will make a real big difference, and it's also just a very satisfying achievement. It feels really good to have your bots at max Forge. I have 4 now. OGM will be my 5th. It's really fun. It's worth it, okay? So I will leave it there for now, guys. I hope this has been helpful, and we will be in touch again soon. Take care.